Hey guys, my name is Nori. I'm a beginner crafter, super beginner crafter. I just got a sublimation printer and very quickly figured out that I wanted to be able to sublimate on cotton and dark colors because there's only so many white shirts you can do and have, and my husband doesn't even like to wear white shirts. So I started researching different ways you can sublimate on cotton and dark clothing, and what I found out was that Siser Easy Subli is one of the most popular products on the market for doing sublimation onto cotton and dark clothing. And it's kind of just like a print and cut where they already have printable vinyl, printable heat transfer vinyl. You can print it out, cut it out, iron it on. The problem is it's not that great. It can wash off, doesn't last that long, the color is not that great. So I wanted to give this a try, but I found there was another product called Forever Subli Flex 202, which was supposed to do the same thing, except it has kind of a glossy finish. It says it can do glossy or matte finish. We'll see about that. So I wanted to do this comparison video to go over both products, both of the options that I found. Another option that I was seeing a lot of was sublimating onto glitter heat transfer vinyl, because that is made out of polyester and you can sublimate on it. The other problem with that is that it's glitter, so my husband didn't like it very much. So anyway, I did a million tests. I had a million craft fails. These products I found in general, both of them, not super easy to use, not super self-explanatory. The directions on them seem super simple. I will read the directions for the Easy Subli. It says, print and cut. Weed excess material. Remove the print from its polyester support by hand, then place it on the t-shirt. Cover the print with silicone paper. Heat and apply at the conditions shown to the right, which are 15 seconds at 311 degrees, which doesn't seem very long, especially because typically with sublimation, you're doing it for 400 degrees for 60 seconds for the sublimation ink to heat up to a gas and actually adhere to the substrate. So 15 seconds, 311 degrees doesn't seem like that's gonna work, but we'll see. And then remove the cover paper, warm. That's it. Those are the instructions. I promise you, I tried that so many times. I wasted so much. It's actually pretty expensive. It's like $25 for 5 sheets, and I used all 5 sheets. And I will show you some examples of that in a second. The Forever Subli Flex 202 was a little bit cheaper. It was, I think, $25 for 10 sheets, so double the amount of product that you get. And this supposedly has 2 finishes, matte and high gloss finish. And the matte finish is a gloss finish, and the high gloss finish is a high gloss finish. So there was no matte in my testing, in my experience. And it also says print in mirror image. So you are not going to mirror this Siser. You're not going to mirror this one because it is going directly. Again, if you print it with your sublimation printer, if it's not a sawgrass, Siser sawgrass printer with the sawgrass ink in it, it's not going to work. It doesn't say that anywhere on the sheet. It didn't say that in the instructions. So from watching a lot of YouTube videos, I figured out that basically the option was to cut it out blank. So whatever your image is going to be, you're going to print it on like regular sublimation like sub A paper mirrored, and then you are going to cut out your image in the Easy Subli paper, and then you're gonna put that on top, and then you're gonna press it. That's not in the instructions anywhere. So multiple steps on both of these, because with the Forever Subli Flex, you have to print in mirror image mode, cut the outlines, weed the white areas, pre-press the shirt for 5 seconds, place the Forever Subli Flex transfer onto the garment, and put 10 sheets of copy paper on top. And that's supposed to, if you have an actual heat press, I don't, I have an easy press. So with the heat press, that 10 sheets of paper is supposed to create more pressure, which doesn't really work if you have an easy press. You just put more pressure with your body, because that's how you do it. And then you're going to, after the 15 seconds, then you're going to remove the 10 sheets of paper and press for, well, so for a matte finish, after you remove the 10 sheets of paper, you wait until it's completely cool, like cold, cool, very cool, and then you peel off the transfer sheet. So the transfer sheet that it has, you'll peel that off, and then you're going to cover it with, it says matte finish economy. I didn't know what matte finish economy was, but I did determine that parchment paper works just fine. I wouldn't use butcher paper, but parchment paper, since it has that coating on it, will stop it from sticking. So parchment paper, press again for 30 seconds. So we're doing 45 total seconds at 356 degrees. It's very specific. So 15, wait till it cools, peel it off, another 30 seconds with the parchment paper, and that's a warm peel, so you just take that one off, and then it's supposed to be adhered with a matte finish. And I might as well just show you what that ends up looking like. So, no, that's probably not the right shirt. Okay, here we go. These are all the samples that I did to figure out that this stuff doesn't look very good. So this is the matte finish. I don't know if you can see that, but that's pretty darn shiny. The gloss finish, somewhere on this shirt, right here, is just extra shiny. So we do have that high gloss finish, and then that matte finish, still pretty shiny, but not as shiny. So for the gloss, it's a little bit easier. You press for the 15 seconds with the 10 sheets of paper, and then you remove the paper and press again for 30 seconds without the 10 sheets of paper, and then you wait till it's completely cool again and peel it off, and then you have that super high gloss transfer on there. And as long as your Cricut or whatever cutting machine you're using cuts it out really good and doesn't have any lines, it ends up looking okay. The Siser, I am really bad with that one. Easy Subli, however, because I have an Epson Ecotank printer, which is not the Easy Subli Siser sawgrass printer, which I guess those ones use gel-based inks, and the sublimation inks for the Epson Ecotank are water-based. So I'll show you an example of what it looked like when it printed off, which was pretty terrible. Oh yeah, here. Okay, so when I did put it in the printer, not realizing, because I have an Ecotank printer, that I couldn't do it this way, it printed really bad. I mean, sublimation always looks a little bit dull, but this was really bad. But I was like, well, let me just try it anyway, see how it turns out. And it turned out really bad. Like, that does not look good. It's blurred, it bled, it's all kinds of bad. I don't recommend it. So then I tried the method of just printing it on sublimation paper and putting it straight onto the Easy Subli cutout when it was white. And that one, I don't know what happened here, but that one had all kinds of lines in it. Typically with sublimation, you don't have to use a ton of pressure because it just needs that heat to get that ink to a gas form. But I tried it again using more pressure, the same exact method, just more pressure this time, and it did come out a little bit better. So my cut was a little bit off. I need to calibrate my Cricut. So there's the white lines on there, but it did come out a little bit better. And it's fairly soft. It's not like the other one is really, really shiny. Really, I mean, it feels really shiny. This one feels more like printable heat transfer vinyl. And then actual printable heat transfer vinyl, because that's what I usually use to make these shirts, is, you know, it looks very similar. It is very much a matte finish, and it does have that vinyl feel to it. So this one I think looks really good. This is regular old sawgrass, or not sawgrass, Starcraft printable heat transfer vinyl. I love this stuff. It works really well. I did one shirt with, after I worked out all the kinks of the instructions, with the what's it called, the Forever Subli, and you can see it's super shiny, but it doesn't look terrible. I wasn't able, the best one I was able to get, period, with the Easy Subli was this one here. And again, it doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look great. It's not something that I would use or recommend in general. So if I have to use one of the two, and I'm going for the super high gloss look, because either way, whether you go for the matte finish or the glossy finish, it's gonna be glossy, I would definitely recommend the Forever Subli. They both have multiple steps. I know people really love the Easy Subli. I tried it, guys, I swear. Five sheets. It didn't work out very good for me. But again, I don't have a heat press. I have an easy press. I found that I did have to use like all of the strength I had. So basically doing a push-up on top of the machine the whole time, all 45 seconds. But if you don't have a heat press, you don't have a sawgrass printer, I would recommend probably going with the Forever Subli. I will show one press. I have it cut out already somewhere of the Forever Subli, and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so ignore my super messy crafting. I'm going to press a Gideon or Gildan. Pretty bad at pronouncing things today. Gildan heavy cotton. It's pre-shrunk. Says it's pre-shrunk. I didn't wash it first. I just came right out of the packaging. We'll get this all lined up. Because I'm doing this as a logo, I'm going to, or as like an emblem on the shirt, I'm going to use my tool here to line it up. Going to definitely lint roll, always lint roll. I'm going to pre-press the area for like 4 seconds just to get any wrinkles out and get any moisture out. Okay. I have my cutout, which is on the Forever Subli 202, I think. I did print it on my Epson Ecotank sublimation printer and cut it out on the Cricut. This is mirrored because it is going to go face down, and then when it heats up, the sublimation is going to come through the backside. Alright, I'm going to put one little piece of heat transfer tape on here because I really don't want it to move. That could cause ghosting, and it could cause it to not adhere good, and I really want it to be stuck on there pretty good. Okay, I'm going to put a Teflon sheet to protect the rest of the shirt. All right. Now my first press is for 15 seconds at 356 degrees and very firm pressure. So basically all of your might. Okay, so after the first 10 seconds, it says to lift up and remove the 10 sheets of paper that I'm not using because I don't have a heat press. And we will start again for another 30 seconds. Okay, so 30 seconds, really firm pressure. I feel like I just got a workout using all of my might. And then we're gonna take that up. The color looks pretty good. Now this is a super cold peel, so we have to let it cool down. I can either let it sit here for a couple minutes, or I could do a trick I learned from using foil, is to put your shirt up against a wall, and that will, the wall will, I guess, like suck the heat away from the hot shirt, and it'll cool it down a lot faster, and then you don't have to wait forever for your shirt to cool down. So it's already pretty cool. I'm gonna give it another couple seconds to get nice and cold. Okay, it's cool. So we are going to do our peel. I've not had the best luck with this, so I'm going to peel it back very slowly and kind of make sure it's not peeling up at all. If it peels up in that spot, I'm going to, even just a little bit, I'm going to try and go to a different area. No. Yeah, it's stuck on there pretty good. So I'm going to try to cool it down a little bit more, and if that doesn't work, the only other thing we can do is try to press it a little bit longer, but it should be nice and adhered. Okay, so it's really nice and cold now. I can't get it any colder than this without like putting it in the refrigerator. But every time I try to, oh, there we go. So you just find a spot that'll let you pull it up without giving you any resistance. And then you pull it off. So I like to feel around the edges to make sure it's nice and on there. Okay, so it feels like it's nice and on there. There's a kind of like a, I don't know if it's like a burn mark or kind of, I don't know, looks a little bit melted right there, but everywhere else looks really good, nice and smooth, really good color. And I'll compare that to my print then cut shirt, which the Starcraft print then cut was previously my favorite. So I would say that the bubbling might be caused from the backing, because the backing that it's attached to is not sticky. So it does, like, it could fall right off if you're not careful with it. So if there's any air in between there, I think that might be these tiny imperfections, but you can't see them really if you're further away. But I think I like the color on this one better, but they both look pretty good. So if I have to use one of the two, again, I'll grab one of the Easy Sublis just for, and to be fair, I'll pick my best one. So this was the Easy Subli, the best one we were able to get. And again, that was, we had to cut out the Easy Subli, we had to cut out and mirrored on sublimation paper, put the sublimation paper on top of the Easy Subli, and press it that way. I've seen also, I did one like this, where you press it, not on the shirt. Let's see if I can find it. Not on the shirt. Here we go. So this one, I pressed like on parchment paper. So I put the white Easy Subli, I put the sublimation paper on top of it, and I put the Subli on top of parchment paper, and I pressed it that way for 60 seconds. And then when I pressed it on the shirt, I used the instructions, which was 315. So I did 385 for 60 seconds. And then I did 315 for 15 seconds on the actual shirt. And it is adhered really nicely. So it's not that 15 seconds wasn't long enough to get it onto the shirt. So it doesn't look terrible. So you can do it both ways. But when I did it for 60 seconds at 285 right on the shirt, it looks identical. So either way, but lots of steps. This one, you have only one step really, if you, I mean 2 steps if you have a heat press, by taking that 10 pieces of paper out if you want the ultra high gloss finish. And then if you want it to be a little bit more subdued and be as matte as this, which again, not a huge difference, but if you want it to be a little bit more matte, then you would only press it for 15 seconds, wait for it to completely cool, peel the transfer off, put like parchment paper over, press for 30 seconds, and then you're not going to have the super ultra high gloss, but it's still going to be glossy. Okay, so my intention really was for this to be a short video, but there's just so much information and so much to go over with the 2 products that, I mean, that's why I didn't show all of the presses, because if I showed all of my failed attempts, it would have been a really, really long video. I mean, I spent all night trying to get this thing to work and perfect it. I was able to get it to somewhat work with the Easy Subli. I still didn't love it. So again, if I'm gonna recommend Easy Subli or Forever Subli Flex 202, it would have to be the Subli Flex. But I don't know, you decide. Let me know what you think.